IFL TV, MTK Global. With me, I've got promoter Eddie Hearn. We're at the press conference today for Luke Watkins taking on Lawrence Okoli. Stacked undercard. Firstly, how are you all?
I'm very well, mate. You're looking well.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I've noticed Coogan's lost a lot of weight, hasn't he? Because he posted an interview of him with Prince Naz, and he was huge.
You look like he'd eaten Naz.
I know.
Eaten Naz. No.
But you're looking slim. I saw you in the gym in Brooklyn.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah.
I was taking little bits of your workout actually. I was watching how you've been sort of getting about the gym.
I'm heavy at the moment, mate. I'm heavy. I can't. It's just the food, you know. Just, I think when you're happy, you don't really give a monkey's, do you? But
This is it. And it's
I know when, you know, my mum's probably my biggest supporter, but my biggest critic. And she said to me yesterday, "How much are you weigh?" I was like, "Oh, touching 18 stone, mum." She said, 18 stone? That's disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself. You'll die. I said, "Well, we'll all die, mum."
But you carry it well because you're quite tall.
I've just got a good tailor.
7'4".
I've got a good tailor.
Balance it out.
Yeah.
What else is happening anyway? How do you enjoy the practice today?
It was good. I mean, look, you know, next gens, we're probably a victim of the fact that we love the sport of boxing so much. So next gen started off, I remember the first one, I think it was Craig Richards against David Higgins.
Coincidentally, right? He's on the card today.
Craig Richards, yeah. And this was a southern area title fight with some other good young kids on the bill. And that's how I was going to grow it. It was going to be like an English title and then some 6 and 8 rounders. Well, because we love it so much and because obviously we're always under pressure to put on good shows, now you have a situation where you have 2 Commonwealth title fights, you have a WBA international title fight, you have the Olympic gold medalist, you have all the other young talent on the card, and we're in a venue that holds 1,500. We could have sold 5,000 tickets. We're on a Wednesday night in York Hall, but the good news is that you watching this can go home after work on Wednesday. You might be a little bit pissed off. It's Wednesday. Sometimes you get to Wednesday and you're happy. Sometimes you get Wednesday's one of those days where it's like I'm either smashing the week and I've only got 2 days to go, or I've had the worst fucking week ever and it's only Wednesday. But however you're feeling, when you take that little walk through the front door, it doesn't matter if you're down, doesn't matter if you're up. What you do know is you've got 4 hours of unbelievable boxing entertainment. So you've got to get in. I don't know if you enjoy a little midweek beer or a glass of wine, or you just might be looking for the lighter stuff. But either way, you need to get your dinner, you need to plonk it on your lap. You can sit there in your boxers if you want. It don't matter. I mean, that's optional. You can be fully clothed, you can be in the boxers, you can be stark bollock naked. I don't mind. It's up to you. You know, you're in your own house. But I want your dinner on your lap, I want your beer or your glass of wine or your soft drink, and I just want you to enjoy the night of boxing with some great young talent, 50-50 fights coming out of York Hall. Feel the energy, feel the love from this iconic venue.
Before we move on to other subjects, just give the card the respect it deserves. We've got some great fights. Ted Cheeseman in action against undefeated Paulie Upton.
Yeah, a bit of spite there in the presser. I mean, that's a good fight. Yeah, I mean, I think Cheeseman, good win against Carson Jones. I think he feels like he's on the next level to Paulie Upton.
The Lloyd Ellett win was great for him as well.
Yeah, it was. And that was a while ago now. And, you know, Ted's still young. He's still a baby. But you look at someone like Paulie Upton, and Ted's right. You know, he's had that apprenticeship, but he's never really fought anyone. But now we find out. And that's what I like about these shows. That's what I like about boxing is, and Cody Watkins is very similar to that. You know, where you find out if the hype is real.
Same as Bellotti versus Ruthless Ryan.
Yeah, it's a great fight. No, it's a great fight. That's going to be a cracking fight. Both of those two, always in great fights. Danny Aryalusinov, Olympic gold medalist, unbelievable talent. Felix Cash, ready to fight for a British middleweight title, in my opinion. Craig Richards, Sean McGoldrick, also on the card. Danny Dignam. You know, it's a really good night of boxing. Good night of boxing.
Very exciting, Felix Cash. Sometimes I think that he's got the wrong voice for the wrong body.
He has.
Sometimes when I'm watching him speak during press conferences, is it just me?
Yeah, I agree with that. No, I do agree with that. And he's a good-looking boy as well. In fact, the girls in the office are massive Felix Cash fans. You know, he walks in. He walks in and he comes to see us or get his tickets or whatever, and he leaves. And I just walk out of him, and they're all like, "Oh, Felix." You know, when I come back, it's Felix Cash. But he's a real talent.
I reckon he's going to be good value when you get him in the bigger fights.
Yeah, no, he will be. He can really fight. Listen, Tony's taking him around the world sparring. He can really fight. And he's on the verge now. You've got the British middleweight division has really opened up nicely. I mean, a big win for Wellborn. Really pleased for him. Against Langford as well. I think they're going to rematch. And then Cash wants all those guys. And, it's a great time.
Fair play to him. Let's go on to some internet rumours. Rumours that Barry has been out in the States and
Oh, yeah,
managed
yeah.
to smooth over all the mayhem you've been causing
Yeah.
with Shirley Finkel and the rest of the United States crew. What's going on?
Yeah, I think Shirley did actually say to my old man, you know, Barry, your son, he can't. So he says, look, Shirley, it is what it is, mate. He's making you famous. I think he said to him. But everything's amicable. They had a good chat. They want to do the fight in the US. We want to do the fight in the UK. Everybody wants the fight. When can it happen? We want to do our UK fight in September. That doesn't really work very well for them and for Showtime. Can we postpone it? Do we sign for the fight now, fight Povetkin, our mandatory, and then fight Wilder in December or February? It's an option as well. I think this fight will get done. I think it's just a case of when. You know, do we want to wait till October, November for the fight? Then we have to go back to Cardiff to do it again. You know, I don't know. But all I can tell you is communication is flowing. And when everybody wants to fight and communication is flowing, generally you get there. And I think we'll get there.
Now, internet rumours rife that Dylan White, obviously what's going on with PULEV. Is there any truth to the rumours I was seeing today that Dylan White's going to face Joseph Parker?
Who did you hear that from?
Saw it on the internet today. I read it on the way in. No. Is there any truth to that rumour?
No, I mean, we talk to all the heavyweights, and you know, listen, Dillian White against Parker's a huge fight. I think Parker's fighting in America in August. We're down to fight Pulev. We're considering a fight with Luis Ortiz. To be honest with you, like anything can happen in boxing. Like, you know, you could see tomorrow we could announce White against Ortiz. But at the moment, we're talking to Epics, who won the purse bid, about where that fight's going to be
with
staged.
With a view of working with them.
Yeah, they'd like to put it on our US platform. They'd like to stage it in Bulgaria. They'd like to put it on Sky. So we'll see. But you know, at the moment, that's the focus, and you know, other fights could be there for the future, or who knows.
Now, with the US platform with DAZN, I know it's a massive deal for yourself.
DAZN.
That's what I said, DAZN.
Yeah.
Massive deal for yourself, massive for boxing. Mm-hmm. Do you feel potentially you could have made negotiations harder by revealing the amount of money and cash in the deal long term?
Because we have to make a statement. We have to show the size of this operation. You know, what do you want to do? You want to go in and say, we've got 16 shows, and I'm not going to tell you how much money we've got. It's this new platform, but it's going to be great. Yes. Everyone's going to go, yeah, but they're probably not even getting paid. Because you've got enough naysayers already. You've got enough people trying to poo-poo it already. So the way that you get people's attention is to come out and say, this is the truth. This is how much money is involved. These are the rights fees we've got. We always know we're going to have to overpay, and it's tough because our business has been built. I like to pride myself on paying fighters very well, but paying the right money. Now I'm paying all the wrong money. But good luck to the fighters, because they're going to get it. And when they get an offer from us, they're going to get more money they can get anywhere else. They're going to get the best promoter in the world and the best promotional company in the world. They're going to get millions and millions of marketing dollars put behind them from the new platform. And they're going to get to box whenever they want. They cannot get that anywhere else. And I've seen some of the comments, mainly from Dickie Shafe, where it's like, they try and make out that Matchroom Boxing is like some two-bob operation. Oh, you know, well, this guy, was he just going to walk in here with not knowing what he's doing? I mean, you got Matchroom, and then you got Richard Schaefer and Ringstar. All I hear in Richard Schaefer's interviews is, you know, when I signed Floyd Mayweather, when I signed this guy, when I signed this guy, well, who are you signed now? Absolutely nobody. If you've got so much credibility and respect in the game, why is no one working with you? So don't worry about us. We're huge, okay? And don't worry about DAZN, who, by the way, are owned by Access Industries, who, by the way, own Warner Music, who, by the way, are the biggest shareholder in Spotify. These guys have got deep pockets. We're here for the long run. It's not about 8 years. This is about for life in the US market. But we're getting all the barriers and all the disruption that we anticipated.
Will you be looking to take the majority of PBC fighters to this new platform then? Is that the
that's not the fight. We're interested in any world-class fighter that does not have a promotional contract. That's all. Okay. We're getting we've probably been approached by, I don't know, it's hard to say 80% of PBC fighters, but 80% of what I call the relevant PBC fighters have approached us, or we've approached them. Half of those probably have no interest, but just want to know the offer and just want to go to Al Heyman and say, Eddie Hearn's offered me this, you better match this. Very clever. And the other 40 might want it. Mikey Garcia knows very, very well, he told me so, he needs a promoter. You can't be a self-promoter. Mikey Garcia is one of the biggest stars and names in boxing. No one knows him like they should know him. Tell me the commercial partners and endorsement deals that Mikey Garcia has. They're non-existent. Charlo's. Deontay Wilder. You can't just have a big mouth and put the pressure on yourself to constantly self-promote. You need a machine. You need a mouthpiece. I am the mouthpiece. I am the loud, mouthy, horrible, arrogant promoter. That is what I do. But you know the real me, James.
Let's talk a little bit about
You're supposed to say a little bit after that.
Just taking it all in.
Okay,
just taking it all in. Let's speak a little bit about Calify. Great defence for him, retaining his WBA super title. Thoughts now with the Roman Gonzalez Chocolito fight?
That's the fight we want. I mean, there's a good example. When we talk about us working with fighters, you will also see a lot of big name fighters choosing to take a fight or two on the zone. Chocolatito is a good example of that. HBO don't have the dates for these guys. You might fight Gennady Golovkin. You might find Mikey Garcia choosing to take a fight on the zone.
So they could literally just come in for one or two fights.
Some might not want to do 3 or 5 fight deals with me. They could come in, earn much, much more than they can on Showtime and HBO, and they can poodle off again. Because my job is to create the big names and the big fight nights on the zone. It's not a case of me just capturing everyone and holding it, I've got you all now, I've signed you all. It's not really what we're about. So when you look at people like Chocolatito, he is a perfect example of someone that can come on the platform, he can have a fight first, he can fight Cal Yafai for the world title. That's a fight we definitely want in November in Vegas, on our Vegas show. And there is a situation where we'd be working with Tom Loeffler and Mr. Honda on Chocolatito. He's not signing with Matchroom Boxing, we're just all working together. So you're going to see quite a lot of that, I think.
Kel Brook, can you tell us what's going on? We know Amir Khan's been off with Ramadan and stuff.
Yeah.
Is there any news regarding a potential clash between those two?
No, not in the last week or so. Both guys have had the numbers for those fights. It's the biggest fight for both of them by a mile. Kel will box at the end of July. We'll hopefully be announcing that card this week.
Will that be an opponent, a comeback opponent, if you like, in between the likes of Rabchenko?
Yeah,
and
someone like
Khan?
that. Yeah, somewhere like in between, I don't know, Khan or Jarrett Hurd and Rabchenko. So a proper test. I mean, Kel's done a round and a half. I want him to have another fight at 154, but I want him to have a proper test. And the same goes for Amir Khan. You know, he's got to find a guy in between Phil LaGreco and Terence Crawford. You know, because he's done 30 seconds. So they both need real solid tests, and you know, I think Kel will return at the end of July, and Khan will go September 1 or September 8.
Third time for British boxing with the passing of Brendan Ingle and coincidentally Dean Francis as well, passing on the same day. If I could just sort of gauge your thoughts and one moment you sort of shared with Brendan in the past.
Well, Brendan I've known probably since I was 10 years old. I remember Brendan just being around Johnny Nelson when my dad was promoting him, just being around Sheffield if I was there. Naz was running around, you know, as a little kid as well. And Brendan was like the godfather. He was like the father figure for all these guys. When you get a guy that so many people speak about with such deepness, you know that he was very influential on so many people's lives. Kid Galahad, good example. Kel Brook, Johnny Nelson, particularly. Richard Towers, you know, I spoke to him, was in Japan with him when Brendan passed. And you know, the words that they say, I think it's an achievement in life to leave with people having that opinion on you. Because I know once you pass, but you'd like to be remembered for the good things that you did. And he is remembered by everybody for the role that he played, not just as a great trainer, but in the community.
Very,
you know, he was a guy that people who didn't know where to turn to in their life would go to, and he would make it all right, or he would give them a vision and some kind of purpose. And I think young people today, That's what they need. They need a purpose. They need a vision. They need something in their life that can give them that drive and want to make them get up in the morning. And passion's very important. You need to have a passion for something. I mean, look at young Frankie down there.
All right, champ.
All right.
Well done on the fights the other day, by the way.
So, what is the most important thing in your life?
Yeah, come over this side.
What is the most important thing in your life? And I say this to my children all the time.
Yeah.
I always say to my daughters,
Yeah.
what is the most important thing in your life? So I'm going to ask you that question. Think about it before you answer it. What is the most important thing in your life?
Boxing.
No, wrong answer.
I
What is the most important thing in your life?
don't know.
Think about it. What matters to you? What means more to you in your world than anything else? If you really think about it.
Be your champion.
No.
You're
Your family, you wally.
Yeah.
That's what I say to my daughters. Your family is everything. But boxing was a good answer as well. But that's what you need. You need, like,
Future son-in-law there for you.
if Frankie weren't boxing, imagine the trouble he'd be getting up to, eh, Mum? You know what I mean? No. But people don't realise what boxing can give young kids. I mean,
Yes.
Frankie was always going to be a good kid, really, weren't you, Frankie? But a lot of these guys that go down the gym and meet people like Brendan Ingle, I mean, Richard Towers was a good example.
Prime
you know,
example.
with his history, you know, he got himself into trouble. He needed to find something or someone to show him the light. Some people find God. Some people find religion. A lot of people found Brendan Ingle. You know, who was exactly who was capable of giving them that purpose and that meaning, and actually making them feel like they had a future. They had a reason to live and a reason to move away from the world that they were in and the path that they were going there. Boxing can do that, but there has to be a role model. There has to be a guy that actually talks to you, sits down and nurtures you and shows you that direction. You can't just say, just find boxing, mate. Like, just go to a local club and it will change your life. You need to meet someone. And for AJ, it was Sean Murphy, you know, and Johnny Oliver and people like that.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, it was Brendan Ingle. So, you know, it was a very sad day. And, you know, I know that obviously we're quite close with Dom and John Ingle, and I know Alma Ingle, his wife, you know, was heavily involved in the boxing world as well. And, you know, it's a very sad day. End of an era, really, is the best way to describe it. For Dean Francis, you know, that's incredibly sad. You know, at such a young age. Dean
I read
Francis.
an interview with him about Dean when he said he was going to fight cancer. It was his hardest fight, and reading it, you come away with such an overwhelming feeling of wishing him to
you know,
to do well.
and listen, he went on probably longer than expected, I think, from the experts, and that's because of the fight in him, and because of how fit and strong he was. Dean boxed with Matchroom on a number of occasions, won major titles, was a really good fighter, strong, great left hook.
Really nice man.
Really nice man. Really and, you know, it's very sad. Not just, it's a problem not just in the world of boxing, but it's a problem in life of the diseases, which is cancer. You know, it takes people away from all of us, family, you know, idols, people from the world we live in. And yeah, of course, our thoughts are with Dean Francis' family, and of course Brendan Ingle's family as well. Two great losses from the world of boxing. You know, I think one of the positive things that always comes out of a loss in the boxing world is the way that people come together in the boxing game. You know, like the way that the boxing world comes together for Brendan Ingle, and will remember him and will make sure that his name and legacy lives on.
It's got to be some sort of statue as well. Put up
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Sydney for
definitely,
another,
definitely. But Brendan would probably laugh about something like that. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know Brendan well enough, but knowing the kind of man that he was, what he will want is that there continues to be opportunities for kids coming through.
Yes, like a legacy.
So that's what we need to create. Statues are nice, you know what I mean? And they're always, but it's really about how do we continue the work that Brendan Ingle has done. And I feel like that should be replicated in cities all over the world, all over the country, sorry. But it can't just come from, like, it's impossible to do what Brendan did, but he did it. But it's not easy. Now, he's built that legacy over a long, long period of time. That legacy and that help should come from the local government and local councils. Brendan never really got massive support from the local council or funding that he should have done. But if people would have actually gone down, and MPs would have actually gone down and looked at what he did for these kids, I think there would have been a greater desire to improve funding or even fund what he was trying to do. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to go down to these clubs and see that if they weren't in there, they'd be up to no good. If Richard Towers had never met Brendan Ingle, who knows what he'd be doing there? Who knows if he'd be alive? You know? If Anthony Joshua had never met Sean Murphy or Johnny Oliver, who knows what he'd be doing there? But it doesn't seem like the government are in touch enough to realise what the sport of boxing does in the community. I know there's loads of different initiatives in the community that are supposed to inspire kids, and we live in an age now where literally, like, you can't read social media or a newspaper without reading that someone's been knifed or stabbed or killed in the capital. And it seems to be an epidemic amongst young kids because they've got nothing else to do. Where's the inspiration for them? Making money and selling drugs. That's all that matters. But when you find something in your life that you actually care about and you're motivated in to succeed in, it takes over. All your energies go into that. You know? So like for someone like, going back to Frankie or these kind of kids, he don't want to get out on the street. Like, he wants to be in bed, preparing for training tomorrow. Like, some people, you don't have to be that nutty about it or that obsessed with it, but it just gives you something to, you know, to get your energy out, to get your, and I think it's a major problem. And it doesn't have to be boxing, but they you need to give someone, yeah, and so many fighters have got stories to tell. You know, and I think we need to make sure that these fighters get out into the community, because I can't tell the story, you can't tell the story, but they can. Anthony Joshua can, Lawrence Okoli can. You know, all these people that have had that up, and they're all, by the way, it's not just those two, it's everybody. They can relate to these kids, and they can try and give them some inspiration and some positivity, but it's hard. You know, growing up, imagine growing up with not, you know, like, you can't get a job, and if you can, it's, I ain't going to pay great money, so what are you going to do? You're going to get up to no good, aren't you? To try and make money.
This is a story being repeated across many council estates across the whole country.
Yeah, and the
It's
world,
just a
probably.
London thing.
Yeah, and the world, probably.
It's a thing nationwide.
But if you don't give kids inspiration, we're going very deep here, and I'll wrap it up, but if you don't give kids inspiration, you don't give them, you know, and this is another, I mean, even a lesser problem is the status of iPads and YouTube, and like, I know this is like, again, but,
YouTube.
no, but it's like, you know, your kids, my kids, you give them an iPad, they'll sit there all day, watch it. You know?
Watching videos of games they've got upstairs rather than play.
Yeah, or like some slime videos, like my daughter watches. Hey guys, it's me, Meredith, and today we're making slime. It's all I hear in my house. I'm like, what are you doing watching this? Go out and like, you know, yesterday I was in the garden with my daughter and we started. I made her do some running drills or something like that, just because we live in a world that's gone a bit crazy, and who knows where it's going to go. It's going to get worse and worse and worse.
Relapse, like people could just say enough is enough of this technology.
Maybe, because I think it's now no longer cool to smoke.
Yes.
It's not really, I don't think it's as cool to drink anymore. And I think that in 5 years' time, people ain't going to be drinking.
It won't be as cool to use an iPad in public.
Maybe, yeah, hopefully.
Be a frowned upon thing.
Yeah. But like when we were growing up, smoking was like, if you smoked, you were a boy, weren't you? Now, if you smoke, you're pretty disgusting, to be honest with you.
Except for if you're in Europe, everyone still smokes in Europe.
Yeah, but I don't think, I mean, I don't smoke, but I can't imagine many things worse than standing out, like having to find somewhere to go and like stand in a little spot here and like, so, I don't know. But
Before we go,
anyway, that was an interesting 10 minutes.
Before we go, any regrets on not signing Tyson Fury ahead of his comeback against Sefer Safari this week?
No, I had to make a decision with Tyson Fury. You know, we spoke a lot. I have respect for him. I think he's a great fighter. I just couldn't put him in with the guys that he wanted to fight.
Seriously?
No, not for that kind of money. We didn't need it. What we had was a very clear plan for Tyson Fury and the kind of guys for him to fight. Tony Bellew, Dillian White, and Anthony Joshua. They're 3 7-figure pay-per-view fights that make him an absolute fortune.
3 monster fights.
He's not ready for those fights. And it's not because he's not good enough, it's because he's been out of the game for a long time. But I don't mind him having the 1, but not 3 or 4 like that. And that's what he'll do, which you'll see in time. And it's difficult because he fights Sefer Seferi, who is the number 2 Albanian cruiserweight, second only to Sefer's brother, who is the number 1 Albanian cruiserweight. Sefer Seferi is a promoter. He's not even really a fighter anymore. He's also 5'10". So this is going to be very, very embarrassing. But it's understandable because Tyson's been out, so I don't blame him for fighting this guy. But you can't call out Joshua and do this to Wilder and do this to Bellew and then fight an Albanian cruiserweight who's not, you know. So, and if he looks bad in that fight, it really doesn't help the big fights that are out there, you know. But he's a character, he's an excellent fighter, it's great to see him back. I follow him on social media, he cracks me up.
Cracks me up as well.
And I hope they get a good turnout on Saturday.
Billy Joe obviously pulling out against Martin Murray. Have you heard anything speculation regarding a potential Golovkin fight for Billy Joe Saunders?
No, I mean I hear probably twice as much as you hear because. Oh yeah, are they here?
No, they're on their way.
To the office. How long ago did they leave?
They're going to be there just before 3.
What's time there?
2.
Okay, do you want to get a car? Or get a train? Okay. What are we saying?
Just come right up, man.
Billy Joe
sorry,
Golovkin.
Billy Joe Golovkin.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know they're talking to Golovkin. Of course they are. They'd be idiots if they weren't. And they're probably talking to Canelo. Is he injured? I have no idea. I feel for Martin Murray, and I just hope that in Murray's agreement, he had training expenses up front. If not for the first fight, then definitely for the second fight, because you've just done 2 camps.
You know Martin Murray, how appeased will he be at the moment?
He'd be really pissed off. Martin's a very genuine individual, you know, and he would have been training as hard as he could have possibly trained for that fight, and he would have put everything into those camps. Now 2 camps. Now, and Martin's a massive family man. He's had to pull himself away from his family. You know, he's got a good team of people around him, himself, Andy McHale, you know, Jamie Moore, all those guys, and it's a real kick in the nuts, and it starts making you question whether you want to continue in this sport. If that show goes ahead on June 23rd, they have to put Martin Murray on. They can't pull him off the show again.
Who would you like? Who would you?
Doesn't matter who he fights. It doesn't matter.
Anyone.
You give him options. He has to fight a big fight, a medium, a tick over. He can't. You know, they've got to give him a fight. That's 2 camps. I don't know if they've paid him training expenses or what, but I feel gutted for Martin because I know he would have been right up for the fight. So I don't know what Billy's doing. You know, probably, you know, perhaps he is injured. I believe Billy Joe, but yeah, of course they're talking to, you know, because that's really. I don't think Billy Joe would have been making big money for the Murray fight, and he wants a big money fight. So.
All right. Plans from now. Weigh-in tomorrow.
Weigh-in tomorrow. Then big fight night on Wednesday. Don't miss it.
Big fight night on Wednesday. Love Child Yalusanov in action
Yes,
as
exactly.
well. It's going to be great. Eddie Hearn, thank you
Cheers.
very much for your time.